I definitely am an anxious person. I've definitely had to deal with anxiety and things like that. And something that's helped me start to see things differently is the perspective of, I'm an overthinker, so I think of all the different ways that this thing could go wrong, whatever thing it is. But when you do that, you're basically, let's say that worst case scenario does happen.
Mm-hmm.
By me sitting there up all night thinking about it 100 different times, I just put myself through it that many more times. And if it
Yeah.
was going to happen to me that one worst way,
Uh-huh.
the best thing I could have done would be to not fucking care, not
Yeah.
think about it a million times, because it would have only happened to me once then,
Uh-huh.
not a million times in my head, right?
Yeah.
And that's kind of the same thing with the past, and sort of the reverse of that, where it's like thing already happened to you once. You're just reliving it now. Like you're
Uh-huh.
just like, okay, you bricked that shot for the game for game. Are you gonna go? Your next game starts, and you're just gonna be like, I'm that player that can't make shots when it counts, and I'm gonna suck this whole game because I'm
Uh-huh.
thinking about that. Or
Uh-huh.
are you just gonna play this new game because it's a new game?
Exactly.
I think that's interesting, being in now
Yeah,
as opposed
living
to
living in the
forward or
present moment.
backwards.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard. What's sort of maybe anything that's helped you, or maybe a biggest revelation or something of that nature, live in the moment, live in the now? What's something that's helped you? A realization, or if it was something someone said.
Really noticing how I feel, like listening to how I feel internally when I'm thinking about past situations, or listening to how I feel when I'm like negatively thinking about an outcome of a situation, you know? So like in terms of so I like to analyze things cuz I'm an overthinker too. Like there's in anime, My Hero Academia, you got Deku, and he'll just like
Every
analyze
possible outcome,
everything.
yeah.
Yeah. And that's kind of goes with the eye of overview. You know what I'm saying? Like you see all of it, but like that's just an awareness. I feel like we have the mental power to look at it and be like, okay, yeah, oh, all right. It's been like reading that book of like the attachment book. I don't have to have an attachment to that, but I've seen all the possibilities. Where's the attachment that it needs to be in this present moment? In this present moment, I'm fine. Now that is a battle of keeping your mind here, because it will jump into the past, it will jump into the future, it will jump into the things that you're worrying about. But what really helps me is I take time to literally meditate.
How does one meditate? That's something I hear a lot of people. I don't meditate, obviously.
Uh
I tried it a couple times. I got like an app a while back,
huh.
and it just wasn't for me. But I'm curious because I think everybody that talks about it swears by meditation.
Uh
That
huh.
does meditate, right? How do you meditate? What form of meditation do you do, and what would you recommend people do, or if they just want to try something?
So the way that I started was the same way I started the handstands. Like this whole consistency thing and
Okay.
doing small. Hell yeah. I would literally meditate for 1 minute. 1 minute, 1 week.
Yeah.
And over the course of like my handstand journey, that's the method I took. Like 1 minute, 1 week, just being quiet, not worrying about nothing. That was cool. It's a win. Everything is a win. Every single thing. I don't care how big or how small it is. If you took a foot forward, that's a fucking win. And I put a lot of fucking emphasis on that too.
Mm-hmm.
So fuck, what was I going with this? So where was I going?
With the meditation,
Yeah,
how
the
did maybe someone
meditation.
get
So
into
like
it?
yeah. So then over time it would develop into more. Like more minutes, more me wanting to experience more. So like then I would go and do guided meditations on YouTube. I found sound bowl meditations. There's these things that in anime, have you ever seen like Naruto and they're like holding up like
Yeah.
movers in these things?
Yeah.
I always been fascinated with these things as kids, and as I was a kid, and I was like, they're doing something. They're definitely on some shit.
Yeah.
So doing some research, I come to find out that this is they're called mudras, and this is how you channel energy of the body. So like
Okay. Interesting.
if you was to hold this mudra, it's called like a transformation mudra. You hold it right here, it activates the solar plexus, which I was telling you earlier, and then just cultivate like more willpower and personal power within yourself.
Interesting.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
doing that, you'll start to feel things. or you will start to feel yourself go places,
Is it
essentially.
so? Is meditation, and this is maybe I'm gonna be again really ignorant here, but again that's what I want to
Uh-huh.
learn, understand. Right, the journey is understanding. Is meditation then a form of just of focusing your thought in a certain place or with a certain chakra? How would you describe? Because a lot of people, myself included,
Uh-huh.
when I'm trying to started trying to meditate, I had this app for a little while. It's
Uh-huh.
like, what am I doing here? Like I have racing thoughts. Like you said, you're an
Yeah.
overthinker. I overthink as well. So it's like I'm just spending 1 minute or 10 minutes, whatever it is.
Uh-huh.
Now I'm just thinking about all these other things.
Uh-huh.
I'm just closing my eyes. Like how does
Yeah.
someone really get into meditating? What is meditating as opposed to just sitting there with my eyes closed?
So that's funny. So right now what I've been literally meditating on is just sitting there with my eyes closed. But I'll get into the other one
Yeah.
more. Yeah, it definitely is a focus. One technique that I love to use is you're sitting there and you have those racing thoughts. Don't react to them. Acknowledge them, thank them for coming, and send them on their way. And visualize it as if like you're sitting on the edge of a river and the thoughts are coming down the river and those racing
Right
thoughts
past
come
you.
by. Yep, just let it go. You ain't gotta be angry at it. You ain't gotta react. Just and let it go. And then if you start to practice that, use consistency, after a while, those racing thoughts cease to exist because your mind has you already acknowledged them. Your mind just wants you to really acknowledge them. So like you acknowledge them, they're gone. Now you start to have these deeper intuitive thoughts.
Okay.
These thoughts that's more aligned with you. These thoughts that feel like whoa, like I got these type of ideas in me. And that's just one form of meditation. Another one is, let's say you're closing your eyes, and if you put your awareness right between your brows, like at your third eye chakra, you should feel like a pressure there. And sit there and just focus your conscious there, and then just focus on your breath.
Okay.
And so like what I was saying with me though, right now I've just literally been trying to meditate with sitting there with my eyes closed, for the specific fact that if I can sit here for 20 minutes, because usually when my meditations, like I drift off, like I can tell you like all type of like stories and shit that just happens during my meditations.
Interesting.
But I want to sit there with my eyes closed, because if I can focus on nothing, literally nothing for 20 minutes, do you know how much focus that'll give me on everything that I'm working on?
Why is that? Because I hear that all the time. Is that a lot of, or I hear that when people become closer to enlightened, it's the ability to just be, where you're not focused on anything. Like you said, focused on nothing. Why is that so powerful? What is the importance of that, so people can understand, myself included?
Well, for the things that you do now.
Mm-hmm.
Are there some parts of it that's just so tedious and it's just like,
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean?
definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, if you was to learn to focus on nothing, how tedious is that shit? Like if you you
Yeah.
literally learn to focus and just be, when you put that focus, because it's like a skill that you're developing. Everything is a skill. So then you develop this hyper awareness to focus on your things. Now you have more control over your mind. You have more control over the things that you are able to do.
Mm-hmm.
And doing meditation also allows you to organize your thoughts
Okay.
to the point where you can see where things should be placed.
Yeah. How so?
And so like being scatterbrained, like having all those thoughts popping up, they're everywhere. Once you looked at them and you have acknowledged them, they have a place to be and have a place to go now. They're not racing thoughts anymore because these thoughts have been acknowledged. And whether you need them or don't need them, they are tucked away in wherever they need to be. So like when it comes with meditating sometimes, so I'm gonna tell you how I do with, so you ever been telling a joke and in the middle of the joke you fucking just go blank, and then like you maybe a day later you like washing dishes, you driving or something, like the joke pops up in your head.
Yeah.
I realized that that's a technique of the brain. And through understanding, your brain works in the background all day long. So like you gave it a command to retrieve this joke. It just couldn't retrieve it at the moment. But while you went on and did everything that you needed to do,
It was still working.
it was still working in the background. So like and I love to do this too, get in a meditative state. Take some time to think about the things that you want to think about. You don't have to look for answers right now. Just think about the things you want to think about.
Yeah.
And then once you're done with that meditation, just go about your day. And then once you're driving, washing dishes, whatever you're doing, boom, it's like dinner is served. You
Start
know what
having
I'm saying?
epiphanies out of nowhere.
Literally,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. That's interesting. Thanks for watching that last video, guys. Click right over here to see the episode in its entirety. Or click over here to subscribe and check out all the other cool shit we have on the channel. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Do it.